Harmattan season again, a season associated with dryness, cold, and dust. And of course, some health challenges are usually experienced within this period. So, as temperatures drop and dry winds sweep across the region, respiratory issues are on the rise. In hospitals, reporting increase in cases of respiratory infections, especially among vulnerable populations such as ours, like in Nigeria. The dry air is also causing skin problems, with complaints of dry skin and worsening of existing skin conditions. Our focus on the program is to engage our health and environment experts in preparing some health tips and how people should plan to cope with these health challenges as it is setting in. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eukaria Clinton. Welcome to Nigeria Today. Joining me tonight to discuss health challenges during Harmattan is Dr. Isaac Abuja. He is a public health specialist. It is good to have you in Nigeria Today.
You're welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. Also with us for the conversation is Dr. Chimere May Ohajinwa. She is the lead consultant, C-Circle Research, and also an environment and public health specialist. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you.
It's always good to have you. Nigeria. It's always good to have you guys. So I'll start with you, Dr. Abuja. You know, we are here again. We are again. Harmattan period again. You know, what are some of the? I know you've been in the field for quite some time, you know, practicing. So, what are some of the likely diseases that is associated with these? You know, this season, the Harmattan period.
You've already said it. Amongst many respiratory problems at this time of the year, and also, well, all of them fall into the same category of respiratory problems.
I know they have different types of respiratory. What particular times?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are people who are asthmatic. There are people who are allergic to a lot of things. For those who have allergies to pollens, to dust, to dry weather, and those who are prone to fall sick very quickly when they are subjected to or immersed in very cold weather, because at this time of the year in the northern part of Nigeria, it is very cold, in the night in particular, and during the day it is also very hot. This is the time too when the skin is very dry because of the weather, and people need to be hydrated, people need to drink a lot of water. But coming back to your question on the type of diseases, people have cough, people have sometimes upper respiratory infections, they have pneumonia, some people have bronchitis. Those who have cancers of the lung, for example, have to be very careful at this time of the year in particular. Patients come into the hospital with runny nose, especially children with runny nose, with cough, with cat-eye. Those are the kinds of common things that are seen or experienced at this time of the year. And we'll go into the details of how to prevent them.
Okay. May, I would like to know, he's mentioned some health challenges that is usually experienced within this period. Are there some specific age group that should be very, very careful this period, you know?
I think might not necessarily be specifically age group, but maybe some vulnerable people, like you said, asthma. If you are asthmatic, if you're a sickle cell patient, if you already have some allergy that you know you're allergic to certain things, this is time to be very careful, because it's not just yes, children can be careful, but there are people that are even more vulnerable. If you know that you have health conditions that can be triggered as a result of dust, then this is the time to be very careful. So if you need to wear nose mask when you are going out to do, if you need to avoid dust, especially if you are asthmatic, do. And it's also a period that you need to drink a lot of water for people that know that they are vulnerable. You need to drink a lot of water to hydrate yourself. If you're a sickle cell anemia, if you're a sickle cell patient, this is when their crises are more, you know. So you should always hydrate yourself. I know that some people don't like the taste of water, but you can get water from any source, whether fruits, vegetable. If you need to flavor your water a bit, flavor it. Some people flavoring their water with lemon, or put a little drop of Rabina in it, just to make sure that you drink enough water to, you know, instead of it to be tasteless in your mouth and you're just tired of drinking water, you can flavor it a little bit so it makes you, you know, willing to drink water. Like you said, it's not only just health issues. I think fire outbreaks are more this season, and this is a very important environmental health issue, because the things that fire will cause, the cost of it is really high. There have been fire outbreaks, you know, in many places being recorded, people having fire outbreaks. So you find that there are things we can also do to make sure we don't have fire outbreaks. So make sure we don't, when you're cooking, attend to your food, because now wind is blowing. You never know where the wind can blow the naked fire to. You see people lighting candles or lanterns and leaving it to sleep. You're not supposed to do that because of the weather. You're not supposed to, you know, make sure that your gas is not leaking, because any little thing can make it to blow up. If you are leaving your house, try to switch off all the appliances, because this is the season when it starts. It can, you know, become a big fire because of the wind, which is too much this season. So I think another thing we need to emphasize on is the fire outbreaks, which will now cause maybe burns that you may not recover from, or even cause more loss than you didn't plan for. So like especially in the villages, for example, where you know their houses are thatched roof, they use thatch to make their fire, and most of them use firewood to cook. So if you're using firewood to cook, it means this is the season to be very careful. If you have to burn your farm to plant, this is the season to be careful, because just little fire can set the whole place ablaze. If you are a smoker, when you smoke, watch where you are throwing your cigarettes, because you can set somebody's house on fire. So these are the little things we need to put in place to make sure that we protect our communities, because there are instances where just one cigarette light has set a whole village on fire. Because now in the rural areas, their houses are thatched, and it's not cement, and they just set a whole village on fire just because you are smoking. So this season is important that we are careful.
So Dr. Isaac, having heard a lot of you know, health challenges that's associated with the Harmattan period, what are some of the precautionary measures that one should take this period, especially, you know, to avoid some of these falling victim of some of these challenges, or even, you know, having an emergency?
Yeah, let me add to the last question you asked before I answer your own now. The group or groups of people that are prone, she already discussed one, especially children. The other extreme are the very old people that are frail, and those that suffer from tuberculosis or any of those chronic diseases that are debilitating. Those kinds of people are more frail, and they need to eat more, they need to rehydrate all the time, they need to sleep well. When I say they need to eat more, I'm not talking of eating plenty of rice and gari and so on only, but they need to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, especially fruits. Why? Because fruits give them immunity. It helps them to have vitamins that sustain the body and enable the body to fight germs and any form of deficiency that you might have. She also mentioned drinking water, which is very important. It's very important for people to drink a lot of water at this time of the year. Always have some water with you. Now, you also have to keep yourself warm, especially if you are in a place like Jos, Kano, Maiduguri in the night. In particular, it gets very cold. You have to cover yourself properly. You have to wear clothes that are warm, especially your chest and your neck and so on. And if for any reason you wake up and you are not feeling well, you should go to a health center or a health facility and seek help. People like to bathe with hot water or warm water at this time of the year. That's fine, but make sure the water is not too hot. Water that is too hot is not good for your body. Actually, when you do that, when you use very hot water in bathing, after that, a few minutes after, your skin becomes very dry. So that's not good for you. Warm water is what is recommended.
You're talking about very hot water. I like very hot tea. Is
well,
there anything
that is,
wrong with that?
you are sipping it bit by bit. You're not drinking it all at once.
Okay,
Otherwise,
popping
it
it
will
at
burn you.
once.
But pouring a lot of hot water on your skin is not advisable. Pouring warm water is okay. Use warm water in taking your bath. People should also avoid anything that they know provokes ill health. Those people that are allergic, for example, to pollen, to dust, to certain kinds of foods, and some animals too. There are people that are allergic to dogs or to cats or to cattle.
Okay.
And when they get close to them, or even chicken, when they get close to them, they start coughing.
Sneezing.
Yeah.
Some start sneezing.
Yeah. And if you are allergic, then you keep away from them.
Okay.
Those are the type of precautions that you need to take. There are people who are on drugs. They have to be careful. They have to be taking their drugs regularly and pay attention to the instructions that they were given. If you are told to take your drug in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, don't take in the morning and forget the afternoon, and then in the evening and you double the dose because you forgot to take in the afternoon. That's bad. That's wrong.
What does it do, actually? You talked about taking drugs. What does the Harmattan have? Harmattan got anything to do with it?
There are people who are already on drugs. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Who, for example, if you have pneumonia and you're on drug that you are taking, and maybe you are leaving the house to the office or to some place, you have to make sure that you carry your drug with you and that you are taking. If you are asthmatic, make sure you carry your inhaler with you because you can get an attack at any time. She mentioned sickle cell patients. They have to be very careful at this time of the year too, and make sure that they don't have any attacks, and make sure that they drink plenty of water, because if you don't drink plenty of water, your blood volume becomes less, and therefore the blood cells inside the little blood volume that you have become sticky. And so you are more prone now to have crisis. So it's very important for them to be always drinking a lot of water and to make sure that they eat well too, and stay healthy.
Okay, now back to you, May. This is very crucial. I know because you're a woman, I will ask you this one about the skin. What are some of the tips that we can have on keeping our skin healthy? Because I know the Harmattan also affects the health of the skin.
On the skin, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, like you said, don't use very hot water. Don't use harsh soap. Yeah, soap that's too harsh to your skin. Just use very mild soap to take your bath. Make sure you moisturize both your skin, your lips. If you need to protect your eyes from dust, protect your eyes from dust. So if you go to a place that is very dusty, when you come back, just use mild soap and take your bath. And wash off the dust. Don't let it stick to your body and then sleep. Carry the dust and then sleep, especially when you have children, and then spread it around. You don't even know what the dust is carrying and it's coming to settle on your body. So basically, take a bath, but not too hot water, too much hot water. And make sure the soap is not too harsh. Make sure you moisturize your skin. Make sure your lips don't get cracked. So if you find like by the time your lips are getting cracked, that means you are really dehydrated. You need to be taking a lot of water. So sometimes when your lips are getting cracked, it's already a sign that is dehydration. So once you feel and when you feel your lips getting dry, you're thirsty.
Okay, is that one of the signs? I thought you need something like Vaseline to, keep it wet.
You need something like Vaseline, but also know that you need to drink water.
You need water.
You need water too. But sometimes you can have it when it's not even Harmattan.
Oh yes.
Just notice that your lips are drying. It's a sign that you need to drink water. You're dehydrated.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, Dr. Boja, tell us, because this part of the world, we don't really see this as kind of something that is necessary. Going for checkups, medical checks. quite a lot of Nigerians feel you have to be down, as in fact, sometimes they have to carry you to the hospital for you to check yourself. So tell us, how important is it for a routine check?
Very important, very, very, not only very important, very, very important. As a matter of fact, there are instances or cases where people's lives are saved by accident. By accident, I mean they go to hospital for something very minor, for example, a small cut, and they bleed, or maybe a small cough, and the doctor looks at the person and feels that this person is pale and is probably anemic, and so he orders for a blood count or something. In the process of doing one little test or another, they find something. They find, for example, that your sugar level is very high. They find, for example, that your blood count is not normal. They found, for example, that you are anemic, and so on and so forth. And but if you do go for routine medical checkups, which include lab tests sometimes, those type of things will be discovered and your health will be maintained or sustained. There are also people who are sick, who have chronic problems, tuberculosis, hypertension, diabetes, just to mention a few. Those kinds of people also have to be regularly checked. But there are, to come to your question, there are people who feel very well, very strong. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay, I'm kanpe. But there may be things going wrong with you that you are not aware of. And sometimes there are symptoms of certain diseases that, that you take for granted. For example, let's take headache. You come back from somewhere, you're having headache, and you squeeze your eyes, and you say, let me just rest, I'll be okay. Or you take some Panadol or paracetamol, and you say it is okay. Maybe that headache is not even from stress. Maybe you have something serious, and the headache is a symptom of that something. And there are many diseases that can cause headache. So if you go to a doctor and he checks you, he will find what the predisposing reason for the headache is. Let me give a good example. If you're always having headache all the time, relentlessly, and you go to the doctor, the first thing he's going to do, he takes your vital signs, and then he finds that your blood pressure is very high. And this is the reason why you've been having headaches. Well, if you are lucky, and you're not close to having a stroke yet, it will be easily managed. There are some cases where it is so bad that the patient collapses, or the patient is so bad that the doctor says you can't go home. We need to keep you and watch you for a while. And they have to go to almost an emergency approach of trying to bring down the blood pressure. Whereas, if you have been going to the doctor and they have been checking you, those type of situations will not arise. And coming to respiratory problems in particular, if you have bronchitis, if you have asthma, if you have pneumonia, if you have emphysema, if you have any type of problem that is respiratory in nature, you have to be careful. Because if you're not breathing well, then it means you're not taking enough oxygen to your body. And if you're not taking enough oxygen to your body, it means that the rest of your body, the cells around all in your body, where blood flows through, that the blood that carries oxygen, is not carrying enough for those cells to be sustained, to be healthy. For example, say you are a woman, you have breast cancer, you are not aware because you've not been going to the hospital. And now you have some other medical problem unrelated to this, and then you find that your blood level is very low, your lungs are not working well, it is not carrying enough oxygen, and therefore the cancer cells will multiply faster. If you are breathing well, and carrying a lot of oxygen, it will slow down the growth
Of the
of cancer cells.
Really?
Cancer cells don't like oxygen.
Oh.
So that's something that is very trivial, very small, but can be very big and dangerous.
Wow. Wow. That's quite eye-opening. So, Dr. Abuja earlier mentioned some, taking fruits. Now, in this kind of period, like the Harmattan period, what are the kind of fruits we should be taking? Because I know there are certain fruits that you need more of this period.
Okay, I think all fruits are important, fruits and vegetables, but especially fruits that have a lot of vitamin C might be important to take.
Like
orange, yeah, a pineapple. Pineapple has a lot of vitamin C in it. So, but fruits are generally okay for us. Like you say, maybe now you're saying take a lot of water. Maybe some of us don't know what you mean by taking a lot of water. Actually, as an adult, you need about 3 liters of water. That's talking about a big bottle of water. That's 1.5. So you need 2. If it's pure water you're going to drink, you need about 6 sachets. So not that I say take a lot of water, because you've been drinking 1 sachet, you're not going to make it 2, and then you think you're taking enough of that. You're actually not taking enough. You're still not taking enough. So if you're going to use that big bottle of water to measure, you need 2. That's 3 liters.
So for the day?
For the day.
You should take 3 liters?
Yes, minimum.
Minimum?
Yes. So if it's pure water you want to use, 6. So if you've been drinking 1 or 2, you make it 3. You not say you're drinking. No, you're not. So that in case you have any of these issues, it will be aggravated. So we find that if you didn't know you have asthma, and then suddenly you are allergic to dust that contains maybe animal 4, you just passed where they are doing poultry and you started coughing and you don't know why you are coughing, because already some things are in the air that is carrying, because of the wind, it could come with microorganisms as well. So if your immune system is already down, to catch you faster. So if you know you're already having allergy, just respect yourself and wear your nose mask. As you are going to anywhere that is dusty, just wear your nose mask. As you are drinking the water, wear your nose mask. When you get home, you can remove it. I know this time is also when houses are dusty, so make effort to clean your house more, especially when you have children, you have elderly people, or you have people that are sick. Asthma, bronchitis, anything respiratory. So that means you clean your house more often to remove the dust, because remember, these dust are settling. And if the dust carried microorganisms into your house, and then you have somebody that is sick or someone that is allergic, it means it has the tendency, the exposure is higher compared to somebody that doesn't have that. So they are drinking water but taking a lot of fruits and vegetables this period. They have, especially the ones that have a lot of vitamin C. Again, remember to make sure that anything that will cause fire outbreak in your house, you stop it. Before you leave your house, switch off all the appliances. If you are cooking, don't leave it and go out, especially if you are frying something. Before it will catch fire, then don't leave any naked fire unattended to. Make sure your cylinder is switched off before you go out, because any little fire now will just blow.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And that's it on Nigeria Today. We appreciate our guests for their time and expertise. Dr. Isaac Abuja, a public health specialist. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
And also to Dr. Chimere May Ohajinwa. She's the lead consultant, Circle Research and Environment and Public Health Specialist. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am your carrier, Clinton. See you tomorrow.